Hi guys, welcome and who dat? I'm Joe, and we are going to talk about Week 1 matchup. Tennessee Titans coming to the Caesar Superdome to take on our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. The first game of the 2023 regular season. And let's talk about the matchup. Let's talk about the prediction. So first thing we're going to do, overall view. The Tennessee Titans were very good against the run last year. And they were 7-3 to start the season until Ryan Tannehill got hurt. And then they lost their last 7 games and finished with the same record as the Saints, 7-10. So they were the AFC, the number 1 rated team in the AFC just a couple of years ago, and starting the year last year, 7-3. I'd say it's a pretty good test. I'd say it's a really good team. And, I think nobody's mentioning this, but the nuances matter. This is a home game for the Saints. You only get a few of those, so you really want the Saints to win this. First game of the year and keep the momentum going from the offseason. You don't need a loss to start the season. It just sows doubt with the crowd and perhaps the team. So what I'm hoping is we win this game. We're favored to win by 3. And I'm hoping we win this game and we keep this positive momentum going from the offseason because apparently we have a pretty good team. Defense was phenomenal at the end of last year. We only allowed 20 points twice in the second half of the season. Everything else was under 20 points. And, I believe this defense is good enough to hold teams to under 20 points. Now, can our offense score 20 points? We averaged 19 points last year per game. And I believe our offense can produce a little better than that this year. I mean, are we going to be as good as Drew Brees? Probably not. The Drew Brees-led offenses, they usually floated anywhere between 27 points a game to over 30 points a game. We were always one of the best offenses. I think for an offense to complement a really good defense, you have to score more than 20 points. And losing every game by an average of 20 to 19 last year, you feel like you're just one made field goal away. Just a couple of more first downs to help the defense out and keep our offense on the field. All right, so I'm assuming we're going to average around 24 points a game this year. I'm giving us a 5-point increase from last year, and I believe the defense will hold everybody to 20 points on average. Half the teams, probably less than that. But, the defense is going to have a bad day, too. Now, if you have a bad day against the Tennessee Titans, that means Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears are running all over you. And I think it is accurate to say that Derrick Henry is that type of running back, not unlike Deuce, a little faster than Deuce, but where you get 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, and at some point you may hold them to 25, 30 yards, and then all of a sudden, boom, he breaks a 60-yarder because gap integrity is lost along the defensive line or somebody misses a tackle. And, you finish the game with Derrick Henry rushing for over 100 yards against you. So we got to keep this going. And the best way to stop Derrick Henry, it would be to get a fast lead, to have our offense do something good and make Tennessee play catch up. Now, are they really good passing the ball? I like Ryan Tannehill, and I think Tennessee had all the makings of a championship team and just needed a quarterback. And when they acquired Ryan Tannehill, that's when their fortunes changed. And nobody thought Ryan Tannehill was one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he was good enough to help this offense get over the hump. And a lot of people view the Saints that way this year with Derek Carr. Derek Carr isn't considered the greatest quarterback in the league, but He's pretty good, and in the right system and in the right setting with a good defense and a strong running game, he could turn your team around. So, do we fear Tannehill throwing the ball? Not really. I don't think. I mean, between DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks, I'm not too scared. They have an athletic tight end, but I think our defenders across the secondary are pretty good. And I think you need to go 3 deep in your wide receiving core to really put a dent in this secondary. That's how I feel about the Saints. Marshawn Lattimore, Alontae Taylor, and Paulson Adebo. I think that's a pretty good trio, as good as it gets. Tennessee has a good trio too. So we're going to have our quarterback, Derek Carr, find the open guy. We have weapons all over the place. I don't think we would have had a successful rushing attack even with Alvin Kamara in this game. I expect the Saints to rush for 80 yards, maybe 100 total as a team. And that's going to include 30 or 40 from Taysom Hill. And then, you get another 50 or 60 from your running back position. Alvin was in the game. I don't know if it would change our fortunes all that much. He's a playmaker. You never know. It all comes down to the offensive line. Tennessee is a 3-4 defense. We don't see a lot of those. And, hopefully our tackles can handle those outside linebackers. Hopefully the interior offensive line can recognize where the blitz is coming from, because that's where a 3-4 can get you. And we know from the Dome Patrol, you never know which linebacker's coming. But if you're throwing the ball around, you can make things happen. A West Coast offense like the 49ers, they had a way of beating the Saints in that 3-4 defense. So anyway, let's pull up the Saints offense and we'll take a quick look at the roster. Jake Haener has been suspended for 6 games. I haven't taken him off the depth chart here, but as you can see, Taysom Hill is slotted as a quarterback now. And personally, I think we're going to sign another quarterback, put him on the 53-man roster in the place of Jake Haener, and have this new guy as our emergency quarterback. I don't think Hill or Winston is going to be allocated an emergency quarterback. I just don't. I don't think that's a good idea. I want Taysom Hill to be involved, not just standing on the sideline holding a clipboard. So if Derek Carr goes down and you have Winston allocated as your emergency quarterback, that means Taysom Hill has to go straight in the game at quarterback. And I know Taysom's practicing at quarterback this week, but, in order to lead this team at quarterback, down in and down out, you're going to have to practice quarterback and not focus on other things, like wide receiver, tight end, and all the special teams Hill does. At this point, Carr is healthy. He has had a career of being healthy. We don't expect him to get injured, and he's bulked up quite a bit before he started his career with the Saints. So I think he's preparing himself to stand in the pocket a little longer, to take a few more hits. I think that's why he bulked up the way he did, because he can run and he can get out of there, but he can also go through the progressions and get rid of the ball pretty quick. So I'm excited about Derek Carr in this offense. I do expect another quarterback. I expect us to sign one. I was thinking it would happen today. Nothing's happened yet. As far as running back goes, I'm pretty sure we're going to bring somebody up. Just leaning on Kirk Merritt as your backup to Jamal Williams. It's a change of pace, but I don't think that's a good idea. I think you need one more guy, and I'm looking at Tony Jones Jr. to be brought up. He's a guy that you can probably throw in there, expect him to be your number 3, and know enough of this offense, especially with a offseason under his belt with Sean Payton, that, Tony Jones Jr. can come in and be that third guy. So I expect those moves to happen, and that'll affect your offense here. I think Hurst is going to start at left guard. They have not made it official. They still have the or designation. Pete or Hurst for left guard. So I do expect it to be Hurst. And if anyone gets injured along the offensive line, I would expect Pete to be elevated to left guard and then Hurst go move himself. I think that's how much faith we have in James Hurst. He's a really good player. All right, that's the offense now. Let's pull up the defense. All right, there's our beautiful defense. The black and gold defense, that's going to make it happen this year for this team. And it starts in the middle with Colin Saunders. I'm telling you, I love this guy. All my cards are on the table for Colin Saunders. If he's on the defensive line, in the middle of the defensive line, if he's on the field, everything else is going to work. I've seen it happen time and time again. You know, Chris Jones, the defensive tackle with Kansas City, he just pops off the field. He pops off the page. Chris Jones is one of those guys that when I watch him play, it's like, man, this guy makes things happen. He's so good. And then you look at the guy next to him, Colin Saunders, and you see all the work this man's putting in to free up a guy like Chris Jones. When I talk about the greatest defensive tackles in Saints history, you know, the first guy that comes to mind for me is Leroy Glover. He had 17 sacks one season from a defensive tackle back in the 90s. That is insane. Really insane. The 2000s. And then you look at the guy next to him, Norman Hand. Massive space eater, taking up 2 blocks, leaving Leroy Glover one-on-one with a guy that can't handle it. And, you know, that's what I do. And when I see an effective pass rushing defensive tackle, playmaking defensive tackle, I got to give props to the big man next to him. So, Cam Jordan, I expect Peyton Turner to turn a corner. Carl Granderson, the best dressed man on the team. He's living in style. He's going to start. He's good against the run. I believe that Ryan Tannehill and running back Spears are going to try to get to the edge a few times. You know, Travis Henry, Derrick Henry is going to pound the ball in the middle. He's going to try to hit the outside a little bit. Tajay Spears comes in. You're going to have to be minced meat in the middle for Spears to run there. I believe they're going to try to hit him on the edges. And if your defensive line plays their gaps, I believe they can chase these running backs down. Spears is fast, but so is Peyton Turner. And if Peyton Turner is solid in his integrity and you're asking him to chase a running back down before he can turn the corner, I believe Peyton can do it. And I know Jalen Smith as a linebacker can do it. Don't know if we're going to elevate him or not. Zach Baun, on the other hand, if he's out there, yeah, I would run at Zach Baun every time. And you're going to need a big game from Peyton Turner to stop that. But Pete Werner and Demario Davis fly to the football. I don't believe you're going to see the running backs average more than 4 yards a carry for the majority of this. There's going to have to be a mistake and a couple of big runs for them to average more than 4 a carry. Now, the Saints' run D wasn't very good last year. I've got a lot of faith in Colin Saunders, and I want Nathan Shepard next to him to do a good job. I just don't know what we're getting from Shepard. But when Brian Bresee comes in and he's next to Colin Saunders, yeah, we're going after the passer at that point. We've got them behind, and we're pinning our ears back. And yeah, that's a duo that I think can be very productive. I think Bresee's going to end up with 4 or 5 or 6 sacks. And as a rookie, that would be amazing. And of course, I give the credit to Saunders. If Marshawn Lattimore is not affected by the knee injury and he plays a good game, I think Adebo's going to play good as long as he stays out of penalty trouble. And I have a lot of faith in our safeties. Marcus May's a pretty good player, and he should take that second-year leap in this defense. and, perhaps surprise a few people. Tyrann Mathieu, everyone knows, is a good player. And you could tell he was swimming last year, but he finished the team with the most tackles and the most interceptions. And I think Tyrann Mathieu's the kind of guy that's going to get better this year and is going to, he's got a chance to turn this defense into something special. If he can get his hands on a few balls, got 3 last year. I'm thinking he might get 6 this year. So there's your black and gold defense. All right, final score prediction. I hope it doesn't come down to our rookie free agent kicker, Grupe. I'm hoping that our rookie free agent punter doesn't shank anything and doesn't give the opposing team a short field. I don't want special teams to be the deciding factor, but in a game like this that's really close, it very well could be. What I'm picturing is a close battle. This game actually going into overtime. But the Saints win. Final score 26-20. Doesn't come down to a field goal in overtime. If it does, hey, and Grupe makes it, it could be the beginning of a beautiful relationship. That's what I got for you guys. This was my preview for week 1. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos like this. I will be doing a reaction after the game, and that video will get up no later than Tuesday. And until then, I'll see you later. Who dat?